Hello, and welcome to your chair yoga practice today. My name is Susan from Unity Fitness and Yoga. Today's practice is all geared toward just freeing up tension in your low back. So go ahead and grab a yoga belt. If you don't have a yoga belt, another substitute would be, I don't know, a bathrobe tie, a necktie, an old belt, just something that we can use for stretching. Even a thin towel or a scarf would work as well. We're not going to use it right away, so you could just let it sit off on the back of your chair. All right. And speaking of your chair, we're going to do a couple of things today with a little bit different approach. So we'll be standing up, we'll be using the chair for some balance. So really important to make sure that whatever surface your chair is on, that's not going to slip. Right? So if you're on a wooden floor, I always recommend putting your yoga mat underneath your chair just for a little extra added stability. All right. But go ahead, take a comfortable seat, scoot forward on your chair so that just your sits bones are on the chair, and bring your feet so the heels are underneath your knees. All right, we can sit up nice and tall here, elongate the spine. And we'll pause for just a couple of minutes to settle in, to arrive, and just tune into body and breath. So as you're sitting tall, if it's comfortable for you, close your eyes. You could also just look down and soften your gaze. Whatever you choose, just take this opportunity to tune in and to check in. All right, so what is it that you sense in your body today? Usually it's easiest for me to tune in physically first, right? So you might tune into the feet on the floor, the sensation of that as you press the feet down, creating presence. Notice the sit bones as they connect to the chair. Notice the spine elongating out of the center bowl of the pelvis. The shoulders are softening down. You might notice the temperature of the air against the skin or the clothing. And then what else do you tune into today? You might notice thoughts, emotions. Just tuning into the overall feeling tone of being you in this moment today. And as we move through our practice today, remember to use this body, this one sitting in the chair right now. Turn your awareness to your breath. Let's watch the breath for a moment. As you inhale, notice the gentle expansion of the belly or the lift of the chest. And notice the exhale as the breath leaves the body. Watching the breath is a great tool to help keep you focused and present during our practice. So I'll invite you throughout our practice, when you notice that you've checked out, you're not tuned in anymore, you're off making your grocery list or whatever, your to-do list for the day, just notice that those things have happened, and gently and kindly just bring yourself back to here and now by coming back to the breath. Beautiful. Let's blink your eyes open, and we'll just bring some awareness first to sits bones on the chair. We'll do some gentle pelvic tilts. So I want you to imagine that your pelvis is like a big bowl, right? We'll just call it like the bowl of the pelvis, right? And as you sit up tall, you first notice the two sit bones in contact with the chair, hopefully relatively evenly. Also bring presence to the feet. You're pressing the feet down to create more presence in the lower body. Now, tilt your torso slightly forward, like hinging at the hip, so that you move to the front of your sit bones, right? You kind of tilted forward. So again, going back to that bowl of the pelvis, we're tilting it forward as if you're splashing water out of the front of the pelvis. Good. Now sit up tall again, and now tilt slightly backward as if you're splashing water out the back. Now you can feel yourself move to the back of the sit bones. Good. Inhale to center. Exhale, tilt to the forward, the front of the sit bones, and then up. And then go back. Good, just nice, slow, little awareness. Good, inhale up tall, tilt to the back one more time. But now come back up tall. Now we'll change it. So rather than the torso tilting forward and back so much, see if you can keep your shoulders and the whole upper body still. And all we'll do is a little pelvic tilt. So we're moving the lower part of our abdominals. So if I turn to the side, it kind of looks like this, right? I'm up tall and I tilt forward and then back. Forward and back. Notice shoulders, upper body is relatively still. We're just tilting to the front and then to the back. So we're warming up those lowest abdominals. All right, let's do 10 in total from here. All right, inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, and then exhale, tilt it back. That's 1. Good, we've got 9 more. Good, exhale. So you can inhale as you tilt forward, exhale as you tilt back, right? You can already start to feel how those abdominals are warming up, just bringing some focus down there. So the navel is drawing back toward your spine and then up. So it's a back and up sensation. Oh gosh. And now I got to talking and I forgot to count. Let's just say we got 2 more here, okay? 1. And 2. Now we're going to change this and we're going to include some rotations in the pelvis, right? So tilt forward and then tilt to your right. So your right sit bone gets heavy and your left one gets a little lighter, like we're kind of splashing water off to the right and then to the back and then to the left and forward. Good. Let's go 4 more times this direction, right? So see if you can smooth out that movement a little bit now. Good, and back, and 3. As much as you can, we're keeping the upper body really nice and still. Of course, there's always going to be a little bit of movement, but we don't want it to be too big. We want it to be small, controlled movements here. All right, let's go the other direction. So rotating forward and then to the left and back and right. Good. Forward on the sit bones, to the left sit bone, back sit bones, right sit bone. Good. And we'll go 2 more. So when we have low back pain, oftentimes it's because something is tight, right? Tight and just kind of pulled out of whack. Good, come back to center. So all of this warming up, we're just bringing a lot of energy and awareness to the abdominals. When we can gently engage the abdominals, they give us some really great wraparound support. So while we're moving through our sequence today, be really aware of the low belly, the navel center drawing back toward your spine and then up. So it's a back and up, almost like a scooping movement. All right, let's sit up nice and tall. Navel draws back and up. Now keep your back really, really straight and tilt forward at the pelvis, right? We just did this a moment ago as we started our warm up. So we're tilting forward. We're going to hold this for a few breaths. Now, again, I'm going to show you from the side view. Notice I'm not rounding the back. I'm keeping my back nice and flat. What we are doing, though, is we're continuing to engage the core. So navel is drawing back and up. And because we've got this little forward tilt, we're strengthening all of these supporting muscles the whole length of the spine. Good, let's inhale, bring yourself all the way upright. You can wriggle things around a little bit if you like. And let's do that again. In fact, we'll do 2 more sets, holding for about 5, 7 breaths or so. All right, so up nice and tall, and then tilt forward, back is flat. Shoulders are down, the navel is drawing back to the spine, up to the ribs. So we're keeping that abdominal engagement, but we're breathing normally, right? So I'm not holding the breath. Let's stay 3 breaths more here. Try not to tense shoulders, neck, or jaw. 1 more breath here. And then inhale all the way upright. I don't know about you guys, but I'm already starting to feel that in my spine, warming up those supporting core muscles. All right, up nice and tall again. Navel draws back and up and tilt forward. Stay here and breathe. Good. 3 breaths more, please. And inhale, bring yourself all the way upright. Let's do a couple of cow and cats. Hands can stay out on top of the knees. Now, as you inhale, we tilt forward like that pelvic tilt, right, of the lower spine. But now chest is open. You could even turn your gaze to look up. So this would be cow pose. And then tuck the tailbone. Roll to the back of the sit bones, navel draws back and up for cat pose, rounding the spine. And you look down, between the feet or out in front of you. If you want a deeper stretch to the upper back and neck, feel free to drop chin to the chest. All right, let's inhale forward. Cow pose, exhale, cat pose. Good, keeping the torso really upright, right? Shoulders always stay away from the ears. Let's do 2 more, please. And up nice and tall. All right. Create a lot of presence through the feet. So feet press down, legs engage, all ties right up into the low belly. Keep that focus and awareness here. Navel drawing back and up. Get that lumbar support. Go ahead and grab your belt now. We'll take the belt and loop it around the bottom of your right foot. Take your right leg and extend your right leg out in front of you. Now, the leg doesn't have to be completely straight. In fact, I always recommend a little bit of a micro bend in the knee so we're not hyperextending, all right? So we'll sit up really tall, just enough tension on the belt, right, so that we don't fall over. Right, the spine is long, shoulders are down. We're just stretching into the hamstring, the back of that right leg. Right, so you can lean back ever so slightly. Just be careful that you don't round the back and dump into the low back, right? The navel is drawing back and up. Let's take 2 breaths more here. All right, let's take the stretch out to the right. So you can keep 2 hands on the belt. My preference is to take both ends of the belt into just the one hand and take your right leg out to the right as far as is comfortable for you, right? So we're still getting stretched to the back of the thigh, the hamstring, maybe feeling some of that in the back of the calf muscle, the lower leg as well. But you might also be feeling some stretch in the inner thigh and groin. Good. 2 more breaths. And let's inhale, bring the leg back to center. Now switch your hands. Now your left hand is going to grab the belt. Always can use the opposite hand for support on the chair. Let's try to take your right leg across the midline. So now, not only still getting that hamstring stretch in the back of the thigh, but also IT band, outer hip. So your torso stays facing forward. We're just taking that leg across the midline. And we'll inhale, bring it back to center, release the belt, And let's take the belt, just let it rest on the thighs. Pick up your right leg. We'll just cross right ankle over the left knee. Just another outer hip stretch. Keeping the foot flexed is going to help protect the knee. Keep your spine long and perhaps tilt forward. The closer your chest and your legs go, the deeper or the more intense that stretch will be in the outer hip. Just a couple breaths more here. Beautiful. Inhale, come all the way upright and release the right foot down to the floor. Just pause for a moment. You can check in. Maybe take 1 or 2 cleansing breaths here. Good. Let's grab that belt, excuse me, and we'll take it around the bottom of the left foot. Extend the left leg out. Remember, just a little bit of a micro bend in that knee, right? Doesn't need to be completely hyperextended, but extended enough that you feel some nice stretch in the back of the leg. Spine is long and tall, and we still got that abdominal scoop, right? The navel is drawing back to the spine, up to the ribs. One more breath. Good. Both ends of the belt go in the left hand. Remember, you can use the right hand now for support on the chair, balance, and just start to take the left leg out to the left. Try not to build up too much tension up in the shoulders, so we're still drawing shoulders down. And we'll inhale. Leg comes back to center. Right hand will grab the belt now. Left hand and come to the chair. And start to take that leg across the midline. Oh my gosh, this is like one of my all-time favorite stretches. Love getting the IT band. So IT band, iliotibial band, is this big band of connective tissue that runs the length of the outside of the leg. So you could potentially be feeling the stretch in so many places, not only the back of the thigh, but maybe outer hip and thigh. I always feel it quite a bit behind my knee. Maybe you're having that experience as well. Let's stay for one more breath. Beautiful. Inhale, come all the way back to center. Release the belt. You can actually just set the belt off to the side now. We're done with it. We'll take the left ankle over the right knee, getting a little deeper stretch into the outer hip. Long spine. If you like, tilt the torso forward. Remember, again, this is a tilt with a flat back, not rounding the spine. Good. Inhale, bring yourself all the way up. Uncross the leg, 2 feet back to the floor. Reposition again, making sure heels are underneath your knees. They're about hips distance, and we're forward on the chair, so just sit bones are here. All right. You do what you like with the arms. You can keep them on the thighs for this next little set, or bring them to the chair for more balance. On inhale, pick up your right foot. As the foot comes off the floor, keep some awareness on the foot. So I like to keep the foot flexed. It just makes the leg so it's not so much dead weight, right? So we flex the foot, pick it up, and then we're going to set it down. Now we're going to do the same on the left. Just pick it up, flex the foot, and just pause. Hold it here. And just stay for a breath, and then we'll set it down. We're going to repeat that quite a few more times. Pick up the right leg and pause and hold it. Right? You're going to start to feel all of that tie into the low belly as well as into the muscles in the leg. Let's set it back down, pick up the left. Right, so working our abdominals, you can feel how when each leg lifts, different parts of the abdominals engage. Let's set it back down. Let's do 8 more on each leg. We're just holding for like maybe 1 full cycle of breath, or 2 to 5 seconds, something like that, right? Let's inhale, left leg. So easy, right? Just wait until we do both legs. Oh, That was a little sneak peek of what to come. Good, up tall. Oh, I can feel how this is getting right into that core. Good, left leg. And down, right leg. And down, left leg. Oh gosh, and again, I got to talking and forgot to count. I'm gonna say we have about 5 more on each side. Really focus on navel drawing back and up. It's a back movement, inward and up at the same time, and set it down. You know, usually when someone talks about having low back pain, even though that's where we feel it, oftentimes, most always, it is deferred pain. That's not actually what's tight or off or out. It usually translates to tightness in the hips and the legs, you know, because everything is connected, right? You're continuing to alternate while I'm talking, I hope. So a lot of the things that we'll be working on today in our practice, not only to open the hips, add some flexibility, but doing a little strengthening as well. So we've got more support for the low back. Good, let's do one more each side. Good. All right, you ready for the big challenge? Now, you can choose to continue alternating as we were, or join me in picking up both legs. I've got to do a little bit of a lean back, but I'm not dumping into the low back. I'm keeping the spine nice and long. As I lift the feet, they're both flexing. And let's set them down, up tall. We'll do 5 of those in total. So we're going to do 4 more of the double lift, okay? Here we go. Pick them up. Navel is drawing back and up. Squeeze it. Spine's long. We're not building tension in the shoulders. Let's set it down. All right, we've got 3 more. Breathe. Right? Even though you're holding the legs up and you're squeezing the belly back, we're not holding the breath, right? Always want to keep breathing normally. Beautiful. We've got 2 more. Pick them back up. You guys didn't know you were going to get this big of a challenge today, huh? Whew, starting to warm up too. Set those feet down. 1 more time, please. Up and pause. Remember, you can choose. You could alternate instead of holding both. Maybe next time you do the practice, you work up to holding both legs up. Good. Let's set it all the way down. Let's take a couple of cow and cats just to release any tension we might have built up in the back. So as you inhale, we do a forward tilt on the pelvis for cow, and as we exhale, a backward tilt. Let's take 2 more just like that. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cats. Inhale and exhale. Good. Up tall for a nice neutral spine. Again, forward on the sit bones, heels are underneath your knees, sit up tall. So this next one, we're going to strengthen our glutes. So we're going to do a little butt squeeze. So sitting tall, just squeeze your buttocks and you'll kind of feel yourself lift up off the chair ever so slightly. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Good. And then release. Now we're going to do 20 of those in total, all right? I'll do my best to count us out. Squeeze again and hold, and each time we'll hold for somewhere around 5, maybe 10 seconds, right? So it might be a breath, maybe 2, and then release. And squeeze. Good. Now you're squeezing and you're holding, but you're not holding the breath, right? Release. All right, squeeze. I would say, if you don't squeeze it, no one else will. And release, about 15 more, I'm guessing, all right? So just squeezing the glutes and navel is drawing back and up. Try to keep everything else in the body relaxed. Release and squeeze. So the shoulders are soft. We're not clenching the jaw, softening the neck, and release. Good squeeze. Navel is drawing back and up, and release. Good squeeze. And release. We've got about 12 more to go. And release. And release. Good. 9. And release. 8. And release. And if you want the advanced variation of this, give it a good squeeze. How about you turn the corners of the mouth up? And release. Good. Oh, I can definitely start to feel this, huh? And release. Good. Keep going. We're almost there. Just squeeze it with all you got and release. About 6 more. Release. And 5. 4. And release. I bet when you came to chair class today, you never thought we'd be doing this, huh? All right, release. 2 more to go, guys. And release. Last one. Squeeze it, make it a good one. And release. A little wriggle around if you like. We'll take a nice stretch next. So I've got an alternate for you. So we'll do cow face leg. So you cross your left leg over your right, like you're sitting in it. Well, like you're sitting in a chair. We are sitting in a chair. Crossing left over right. And 2 options. You could, from here, walk the leg out. Notice I've got my both toes on the ground here and then folding forward. So we're working toward an outer hip stretch. Now you could alternatively lean back in the chair and catch onto opposite shins or, oops, a little cramp there, opposite shins or ankles, right? So you do you, whichever one works best. And pause. And we'll release and set down if you've picked the legs up. We'll do 3 rounds in total on each side. Okay, so let's just stay here with left one crossed over and we'll come back to round 2. So remember, you can lean back in the chair, keep integrity of the core. So navel is drawing back and up. Maybe you catch onto the ankles. You could even catch outer edges of the feet. A lot of this just depends on what's going on in your body, right? Remember, you could have feet on the floor and just fold yourself forward. Good. Oh my gosh, this feels so great in those outer hips, huh? The glutes that we just worked. And let's release it and set it down. And one more time. Pick it up and hold and breathe here. Good, 2 breaths more. And release, uncross the legs, maybe bounce them around a little bit, do a couple windshield wipers. All right, let's get that set up for side 2. All right, so right crosses over left, and you decide whether you take the forward fold here or pick it up. Either grab ankles or feet. Have that little bit of a lean back, but just because we're leaning back, keep the integrity of the core. So navel is drawing back and up. We're lengthening the spine. Shoulders are away from the ears. Oh, it's so much to think about. I know, right? But this feels so great in outer hip. Beautiful. Release it down. Let's pause for a moment. And repeat. So 3 in total on each side. Cow face legs. Gomukhasana is cow face in Sanskrit. And release it down. Shake it out. Make sure we're not building tension up there in those shoulders. All right, we've got one more round to go. Your low back is going to feel so supple and soft, open, yet strong and supported. Beautiful. And release it down, uncross those legs. And again, you can bounce the feet around, maybe take the knees side to side. All right. Now, because everything is connected, we can't just work with the lower body. We'll work a little bit with the upper body as well, just to keep everything nice and open. Now, options here. We'll take the hands back, the arms back behind. So you might start, again, I'll kind of twist so you can see what I'm doing, just catching hands to opposite elbows, right? This would be one option. Now, be mindful that we don't get into this kind of situation, right? So the shoulders are dumping forward. We want to sit up tall. The shoulders are drawing back. So we're getting some openness across the top of the chest, right? And the shoulders. Option two, if it's available to you, and maybe not today, but maybe we work toward it, you could take a prayer hand behind the back. Now, if you take the prayer hand, we'll be pressing the palms together. So it's an active opening, right? So the easier variation or more accessible would be to have palms together with the fingers pointing down. You could even flip that. It's a little challenging for me, but you could flip that so the fingers point up, right? You do you, whatever you have chosen. Let's stay here for, let's say, 3 breaths more. So remember, you could just have hands to elbows, so we're kind of gripping, shoulders down and chest is open. Or if the palms are together, whether they're pointing down or up, you're pressing the palms together. Beautiful. One more breath, please. And release the hands from back behind. Oh, that feels great in the shoulders. Let's take this into the side waist now. Release your arms down by your sides. So let's take a left arm and stretch it up overhead. Take an inhale, lengthen both sides of waist. As you exhale, start to take a lateral bend over to your right. Now the right hand could stay reaching down to the floor, or you might take to the hand to the seat of the chair for a little more support. We'll stay here for about 3 more breaths. So it's a lift and lengthen even while we're taking the lateral bend and opening up the whole left side waist, left side body. Beautiful. Inhale. 2 arms straight up overhead. Arms go up, spine goes up, and then we'll take this lateral bend over to the left. So remember, fingertips can just point down or come to the seat of the chair for more support, but take that lateral bend up and over. Now, while we're in the lateral bend, your gaze has lots of places it could go. You could keep it straight forward to the horizon. You might look down to the floor outside the hip, or you could even look up past the arm or the elbow of the upper arm. All right, let's inhale, come all the way upright. And I say all of that because we'll do that 2 more times, holding for about 5 breaths. All right, let's take the lateral bend back over to your right, stretching the left side. Now, do you notice how when you take the lateral bend over to the right, your right sit bone gets heavy, but the left one lifts up a bit? See what you can do about creating presence in the legs so that we keep the pelvis more neutral, right? So both feet are pressing down, your left ribs, left side waist are kind of pressing out to the left. And again, adjust your gaze to whatever is most appropriate for you. Let's inhale back upright, 2 arms up overhead, and then take that lateral bend over to the left, up and over. Continue to create presence in the feet, right? We're pressing the feet down, sit bones down, right sit bone. And we don't have to keep it completely tacked down, but be as neutral as you can with the pelvis. And One more time, each direction, 2 arms up, straight, and take the lateral bend over to your right. And inhale, upright. Last time, over to the left, stretching the right side. And inhale all the way up and lower the arms down. Great. Come on up to stand. So come on up to stand and come to, now I'll turn my chair so that I'm more visible, but come to stand next to your chair with your right hip next to the chair, right? So that's the direction we're facing. So right hand can go on the back of the chair. Use any other prop or piece of furniture in your house, right? You could even use the wall for this one as well. All right, now come to balancing on left leg and pick up your right. Remember, we did this seated in the chair where we picked up the leg. So remember, flex the foot, navel draws back and up. Now we'll take a twist. So everything stays neutral in the lower body. I'm not going to turn the legs, but turn your torso toward the chair. I like to take left hand and bring it to the outside of that right thigh. Long spine. If you feel like gravity starts to take over, press down more into that left leg to create more length in the spine. Let's stay for 2 more breaths, okay? And lower down, 2 feet to the floor, wriggle and shake things out. I'll turn to go the other direction, so I'll move my chair. You could just walk around to the other side of your chair, okay? All right, up tall. So you're going to come to balance on the right leg, pick up your left foot. All right, so the thigh goes up, the foot is flexed, navel is drawing back and up. All right. Find your steadiness. Maybe that right hand crosses over to the left thigh, and then twist around to your left. Now, you know, as I mentioned it on side 1, gravity wants to take over. It wants us to slouch down. Work against gravity by pushing down into the feet, navel drawing back and up. Get as much length through the spine as you can. One more breath. And exhale. Set it down. Shake the legs out. All right. We'll use the seat of the chair for this next move. Now, really careful about making sure that your chair is not going to slide. So depending on your situation, like you could just keep it on your yoga mat. One example you could do is if you're up next to a wall, you could place the back of the chair legs there so the chair is not going to go anywhere, okay? I'll turn mine back this way just so you can see what I'm doing. We'll take a lunge to the chair. So standing back behind the chair, picking up right foot, place the right foot firmly on the chair, right? Use the hands however you like. Take that back leg, bring it back a little bit farther, toes are on the ground, heel is lifted. Either straight leg or a little bit of bend in that knee. So we're firmly pushing left foot down to create the lunge using the chair. You might then take the arms and reach them up overhead. So this is giving us not only great balance work, but because we've got that left leg extended back behind us, getting some stretch and some opening through the front of the hip. Right? And then because we're standing and we're balancing, right? We're working all of those big muscle groups and the core, right? Navel is still drawing back and up. Keep breathing. One more breath. And then we'll bring the hands down and step yourself off. We'll take the other side, foot to the chair. And wiggle that right leg back a little bit more. So the left foot is up on the chair. You're firmly pressing down, creating a lot of presence in the legs, getting a little stretch across the front of the hip. And maybe if you're feeling really balanced today and steady, feel free to take the arms up overhead. Now remember, your arms could stay down, but keep that core support going. Navel is drawing back to the spine, up to the ribs. Kind of putting everything together that we've learned and worked on so far. One more breath. And exhale, lower down. Carefully step yourself off of the chair. Keeping my chair just like it is, something else a little bit different we'll do today. Come all the way down onto the floor. Yeah, so all the way down on the floor, and I'll place my feet up on top of the chair. Now, remember, we want to make sure that your chair's not going to go anywhere. So again, feet of the chair could be butted up next to a wall or a sturdy piece of furniture. All right. So feet will come up on the chair and I'm laying all the way down onto my back. So we'll do a bridge pose. So we're really going to strengthen up our whole back side from here. So feet are pressing down on the chair. Again, make sure that chair is not going to go anywhere, and you're going to press down and lift those hips up. Now we'll hold it here for a couple of breaths. So we're squeezing the backside, lifting everything. Navel is drawing back to the spine, up to the ribs. And then exhale, lower back down. Now an alternate to this, right? If maybe this is a bit much for you for today, you can work up to it in a future practice. But you could also just do this with the feet on the floor and lifting up, right? And then as you build strength, maybe you work up to elevating the feet. All right. So twice more, 2 more rounds here. So pressing down, lift those hips up, firmly pushing down into the chair. Navel is drawing back and up, firming the backside, and continuing to breathe, right? Two more breaths. And lowering all the way down. One more time, all right? Pressing down, firm down, lift up, and breathe. One more breath. I know you can do it. And whew, all the way back down. Seeing how we're here, go ahead and just let your calves rest on the seat of the chair, arms by your sides, turn your palms up. We'll just take a rest. In fact, this will be our Shavasana today. If it's comfortable for you, close the eyes. And as the eyes close, we tune in. Tune into physical sensation. Anything else that you might notice. And tune into the breath. Stay here for just a little bit longer. Of course, if you have time in your day, you stay as long as you like. It's really lovely to have the back resting on the mat, on the floor. Again, if you're enjoying this, feel free to stay as long as you like, and you can just close out here. Or you can shift those feet off the chair and just come up to sit as we close. Joining hands in Anjali Mudra, just bowing chin to the chest, just pausing, taking a moment for gratitude. Gratitude to yourself for taking this time for you today. And as always, I thank you so much for sharing your practice today. Namaste.